Hey guys, welcome to another week of WoW Weekly with Myst. And for this week, we have Battlegrounds as the weekly. There will also be a little micro event called Thousand Boat Bash that will be from June 6th to June 8th. That one is basically you basically just take a boat tour and there's some quests you can do. The reward is like many of the other micro event rewards where it's not forever. The reward will be a boat that you can, go across the water with, and it only lasts for 7 days. Then we will also have Dark Moon Fair on Sunday starting up. So that'll be a good one for gaining some more rep for whatever rep you're currently going after. And of course, the experience buff is still active and will remain active for at least a couple more weeks. We'll know more probably on the 9th. On June 9th, there's going to be an interview with Ian where he will be talking more of some of the newer changes involving Shadowlands. And I imagine that the main purpose of the interview is probably to give us a date on the pre-patch event and maybe a little more info regarding it. And they had mentioned a while back that when we do have the pre-patch event, the experience buff will end. So once I know an official date on that, I will include that in one of the next WoW weeklies, whichever one is closest to the date. And yeah, so yeah, I'll let you know what goes on with that. There will be like another WoW weekly before that interview even happens, because that interview won't be till next Tuesday. And that is it for the weekly events for this week. As for myself and my goals and my accomplishments, basically what I worked on this past week is, you're watching it right here, basically. I was one of those people that kind of got bored of visions really quickly. I did them when they first came out and, also did some videos for you guys regarding them. And once I got to 6, I was like, ugh, I don't want to do visions, right? And so I let it be for a long time, but I was still doing the dailies pretty regularly, so I had all this currency like stocked up. And so this weekend I decided to use all that currency. I still have some currency left over, actually. So I dragged my cloak level from level 8, because I had done a couple of levels like a couple of weeks ago. So I started the weekend with level 8. Well, I started Saturday, actually, with level 8 cloak. And I brought it all the way up to level 13. So I am almost max. I probably could have just maxed it out that day, but I chose not to. So I'm gonna finish the last couple of levels probably next weekend, and yeah. So then I'll be max. I'll still be running this a lot because I still need the mount from the mailbox. So I will definitely be doing that. I think there might be a couple of pets I still haven't gotten from the Visions event. And of course, there's some achievements I still need. So it's one of those things where I put it on hold, but I knew I was going to come back to it because I need my achievements and all that. So this was the comeback, and I think it was a pretty good one. In one day, I ranked it up, 5 levels. And I also now have all the corruption pieces that I want. Of course, I can always still upgrade gear, so I may have to get those corruption pieces back. But as it stands, I have my best corruption pieces, and my resistance on my cloak is high enough that I don't even have the Eye of Corruption anymore, which was really nice. I deal with it because it's an easy one. Once you get used to it, you just know to get out of it, and yeah. But it's still annoying. It's still annoying, and I just wanted it kind of out of the way, but I didn't want to remove gear because of it or corruption. So yeah, it was nice. I just did enough levels on the cloak that I just gained the resistance to remove it. So yeah, my corruption that I'm using basically is only 18. So it's pretty nice. I like that. And it'll probably be a while before I upgrade any gear because the corruption is currently sitting on newly upgraded gear, because since you can just buy the corruption pieces now, it's a little easier to throw them on the gear that you don't think you'll replace for a long time. So that's kind of what I do. I just throw it on, my best pieces of gear, basically. Okay, so for the next things that I've been doing this past week is more of the rep. I stated in the last WoW Weekly that I was going back to the rep farm for Alda McCord and Rajani. So I have done that. I'm not doing it daily, though. What I've decided to do, since I'm so close and I can kind of putz around and still be exalted before the expansion ends. So what I've been doing is I only do dailies till the war front, or not the war front, but till the assault or whatever changes. So yeah, more gets done out in Rajani than Aldham now, because Aldham was sitting at a 7-day assault, whereas Rajani was sitting at a 3-day, right? So definitely more going on there, but not a big deal because I'm actually further behind in Rajani rep than I am Aldham rep, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Basically what I'll do is I won't do the assault in one single day. I'll go out there, do my dailies. I can typically get up to like 70% into the assault through a set of dailies, and then I just kind of stop. And I come back the next day, do the next set of dailies, and then I complete the assault and do it that way. So yeah, basically that's so I'm definitely not doing it daily, which honestly I like that system, because then I don't feel like I'm doing these tedious tasks. Like, you know how it is when you're trying to get exalted with rep and you're doing stuff that you don't want to be doing every day. This kind of gives me a little break in between, so I like that system. So that's the system I'm gonna stick with, and it's been working out well. The assaults give really good reps, so it's kind of why I wanted to make sure that they kind of fit in there for that. So yeah, the rep is very close. You can see in this picture here that the honored is literally 3 rep away from being revered. And we'll be hitting revered this week for sure. And Alda McCord is not going to get exalted this week, but it'll probably get, a fairly good dent in it. And then on Sunday, Dark Moon occurs, so we can start using some Dark Moon buffs there. Okay, so next up we have the Death Knight, which is my Horde character that I work on the rep for. And as you can see, a lot of things are revered in that list, so the rep is doing pretty good. I have not at all been focusing Champions of Azeroth because I don't really need anything having to do with that. But eventually, I'll work on that rep a little more. The goal is still Zandalari and Honorbound. Zandalari will... It's hard to tell because they're pretty close together. And yeah, it's really hard to tell which one will get done first. But what I am hoping is to at least get at least one of them before any announcements for the end of the experience buff happen, because I would love to create those characters and get even a bit of leveling on there. And yeah, speaking of leveling, I haven't really done much on the Valden lately. The Valden is still at the same level, which I believe was level 94. And I'll probably be returning to the Valden leveling, not this week because I got some plans for this week for WoW, but next week. Yeah. And that will also be the week we will most likely figure out when the pre-patch is. So that is basically it for accomplishments. Still been doing my mount runs, which are streamed on Wednesdays, and they have not been going well. I have not gotten a mount from those mount runs in a long time. There's some really high attempt ones. Blue Proto Drake is one of them, and my attempt is 330 and still climbing. So that one's a pretty high attempt. And then, of course, Altraxian. I have been running that raid for years. Yeah, and that one is sitting at, I can't remember exactly, but it's around the 200 mark. So it's definitely another high attempt one. So hopefully one of those two will just get done soon. Okay, so for news, I don't have a whole lot of news for you guys this week, but I do have one piece for retail WoW and one piece of news for classic. So we'll start with the retail, of course. So it's not really related to retail at all. It's more related to Blizzard. But the next BlizzCon 2020, has officially been canceled by Blizzard due to COVID and all that. And they did also mention that they are thinking of doing a virtual event at the beginning of 2021. It's up in the air, so not confirmed that they will for sure be doing that, but that's what they're thinking of doing in replace of BlizzCon 2020. I think personally it's a good move. I realize that BlizzCon would have been quite a while away from now, but the thing is, this is the time that tickets would have been going on sale, so they kind of had to jump on a decision. So, while it might be, to some people it might seem early for them to cancel it, it's not at all early because people hold on to tickets this early. And people have to, people need time to save money for it and, book their hotels and all that. So this really is the time to cancel it. And honestly, situations are pretty bad in the world right now. And me personally, just because travel is apparently okay now, doesn't mean I want to travel, right? I honestly would give it a bit to make sure there isn't something they have missed, right? You never know. Like, always give it at least a few months, right? So I think that was a really good decision on their part. For the classic WoW news, that news is that the Black Lotus spawn rate is going to be increased. So that is really good, which also means that you won't have to pay an arm and a leg for a Black Lotus on the auction house. So while that might be bad for gold farmers, that's, definitely good for the majority of players. So I think that was a very, very good move on their part. I know there's a lot of people, they're all, no changes, no changes. But honestly, did anyone think there'd be no changes? Like, you need changes. Like, vanilla was the way it was because it was vanilla. It was the beginning of stuff, right? There's a much bigger population of players nowadays than vanilla had. So also, I would just like to mention that I think it is a very smart move, that part where it says a player can't see a Black Lotus on screen if they're dead unless they have 300 herbalism. That is awesome, in my opinion. I think that is very good. Of course, it probably pisses off a lot of people, but I personally think that that's a great move. And that concludes this week's WoW Weekly. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having fun doing whatever it is that you're doing in WoW. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.